Hi everyone, my name is Tran. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Erica, and I'm glad to be giving a brief overview of the Office of Integrated Waste Management. Next slide, please. The specific mission statement for our office is to implement, as John mentioned in his slide, to implement federal interim storage for commercial spent nuclear fuel. And to this end, the DOE is committed to implementing a consent-based siting process. Next slide, please. We included this slide because we often get questions concerning the Nuclear Waste Policy Act about permission or authority to seek interim storage with the current policy. And so just a little brief explanation on here that the department is directed to move forward under existing authority to identify a site for federal interim storage. And I'd like to tell us a little more about the two teams that constitute our Office of Integrated Waste Management. Next slide, please. So John already had this in his slide, but just a brief overview here. The Office of Integrated Waste Management is housed within NE8. And as a social scientist, I actually never imagined myself working in nuclear energy. And so I'm really excited to highlight that. Our office is also a multidisciplinary office that ranges from experts in engineering as well as social sciences to even include me, a psychologist. Next slide, please. I'm going to tell us a little bit more about the consent-based siting team here. Next slide, please. Just last month, we actually released a process document that discusses the consent-based siting process in a little bit more detail. But to give us a brief overview, the consent-based siting process consists of three key characteristics here. The process looks to prioritize people and communities to highlight ways that we can really work toward the well-being and meeting the needs of different communities. The process also centers on equity and environmental justice, and it's looking to be a collaborative and phased and adaptive process. The topic area, I believe, is 7 that is related to the consent-based siting process, and we look forward to speaking on that a little bit more in the coming weeks. Next slide, please. Specifically, the consent-based siting process has 3 identified stages, and currently stage 1 is underway, and we have an anticipated remaining duration of 2 to 3 years. And during this specific stage, we're looking to really build relationships with communities, encourage mutual learning, as well as to develop a common understanding of nuclear waste management related topics in such a way that we can amplify community voices as we look to site 1 or more interim storage facilities. Next slide, please. To this end, we put out a funding opportunity announcement in fall. And it was originally slated to be a $16 million award, but it was actually increased to $26 million. And here are a few more details about that funding opportunity announcement. We are still looking to announce awardees in late spring 2023, hopefully in the next coming weeks. Next slide, please. In addition to the consent-based siting team, our cross-cutting initiatives team focuses more on research and development as it relates to the transportation and storage of spent nuclear fuel. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry, the title got cut off, but in our transportation research and development, some of our research focuses on the development of rail cars. That is because spent nuclear fuel is expected to be transported by rail. And so we have ongoing research on the Atlas railcar, Buffer railcar, and as well as the Fortis railcar. Next slide, please. And with our transportation research and development, we are also engaging with tribes and states as a collaborative effort. For instance, we have IWM federal staff who are leading several ad hoc working groups, as well as a transportation core group. Next slide, please. With regard to our research and development on storage facilities and equipment, oh, I'm so sorry. The text that got cut off highlights that three different areas of research here, including project management for a federal consolidated interim storage facility, as well as storage facility design, which includes functions and requirements for storage facilities, as well as reference design concepts, as well as canister inspection and remediation concepts, such as helium leak testing. Next slide, please. And that concludes my brief overview. We look forward to discussing more on topic area 6 and 7, in the coming weeks. Back to you, Drew. Thank you.